look in the eyes of my brother.
3,
Without
2.
shedding a
Yo!
tear for my brother.
That was just slightly premature, but yeah, let's go ahead and scare me. It came in with some gusto.
Premature, a thing that I never am.
Speak for yourself, my
That's not true. I've had my time as well. But yo, welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy podcast. We are 4 brothers. Today we only got 3. Much love to AJ, could be on the day. But we got Marco and we got A-Dub. Say holla to the people.
What's up, to the people? What's going on? Thank you for listening. I don't know why I said
say holla. That's not a thing. But
you speaking. See now you're speaking with a lower. You're beginning to speak with a lower middle class tongue right now. I'm just telling you, it'll vary throughout the episode. I'm sure.
I don't appreciate this. These speaks about my finances. But no, we are brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. That come together to talk about this thing called life. No matter what the conversation goes, we pride ourselves on being forthright, vulnerable in all ways, and most of all, we try to be honest. Not try to be, we prioritize being honest. And so, yeah, fellas, before we hopped on the recording, A-Dub asked me about what kind of laptop I was using, and I said, how should I say, unapologetically, I'm using a Gateway, which prior to buying it, didn't realize that they even still made computers, because the last time I heard of Gateway was 5th grade. And I have no shame in this. It's a decent laptop. And I was saying that, it's not top tier gaming. It ain't Alienware, and it ain't, the top of the line Apple product, what have you. But it does what I need to do. And so I was like, yeah, we got it's like upper middle class, and this tickled his fancy. So all the real estate references and talks about people's impoverishment that you may hear throughout this episode is because of that prior
conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much for that disclaimer, because I would really sound like even more of an asshole without it.
So, it's like you just sound like a whore.
Yeah. It's that impoverished tongue of yours. That's what it is. Like, damn. That guy Aaron just went from like fucking a monk in the previous episode to a terrible person.
But no, another thing we were talking about is conspiracies to a degree. I know we'll have conspiracy talk here and there. A strong conspiracy that I personally believe. And all this is allegedly, so don't try to come to me for some defamation shit, because I ain't got lawyers. But if y'all do, I'm sure that episode's going to get like a lot of views and shit. So, prematurely, free Josh.
Yeah, we will be making shirts.
I believe with my whole chest, allegedly. Sony killed Michael Jackson. Why do I believe these things? Things to pay attention to. Michael owned 51% of Sony.
I did not know that. Okay.
And so we're not talking about just the common thing people talk about, like, Michael owned the Beatles catalog. Fuck the Beatles. It was so much big. He owned the Beatles, Babyface, Beyonce. It was so many records that came out under Sony that he owned and was part owner of, or what have you, because he owned a majority stake in that company. And they told him out. He used to call his friends and all that kind of stuff, and with his old nigga voice, being like, I forget the cat he was talking to, but I saw an interview. Dude was like, man, they keep fucking with me. They fucking with me like they gonna do something. and it was because he knew that they did not appreciate that he was a crazy savvy businessman, that he could own 51% of one of the largest tech and music owners in the world. And so Sony's a Japanese company, I think?
I think so.
Is Sony a Japanese company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially.
initially before it became like public and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that was the first thing. And then what was the dead giveaway was his part of it. These numbers are going to be flubbed, but just throwing an arbitrary number out there. His catalog made, let's say, like 150 mil a year. Like what he made off of his ownership was some odd like 150. Probably, let's just say that. I'm sure that's a really low number, but again, these arbitrary numbers because I don't remember. If his shit made 150 million a year, Sony bought back his percentage of the company from the Jackson State for 100, which makes even less sense. We're saying that they mafioso his ass, so I don't want to hear nothing about the black doctor that killed him while he was on the This Is It tour and all of that kind of. No. I'm sure that was the means, sure, but that motherfucker got paid off. Sony did that shit because they wanted their shit back.
He also was speaking out, against like BS in the industry before, right before he passed.
No doubt.
Ooh, very true. You know what, man? Okay, so first off, I just want to say I like your talking points, Josh. Like you brought up, you made a statement and you backed it up with good ideas, right? You backed it up with, we can't say it's you backed it up with good ideas. I'm gonna say it like that. So I appreciate that. And I also want to say that Amber Heard could probably use you as a lawyer. Yeah. So I just want to appreciate that. I want to speak on that. Some real upper class shit. And two, here's a, I guess, slightly related to that. I don't know if it's true, so I wonder if you guys have heard this as well, or perhaps it could be seen as like some mini conspiracy. I had seen clips, I think on YouTube, of people saying that that Michael Jackson actually owns either I think some portion or a large portion of Eminem's material. I don't know if they were just making that up. Say it again.
Because it probably came out in the summer.
That's the thing. I did it. That's the part that I was trying to actually figure out. And I think folks were making it. I think folks were dressing it up to make it more dramatic. And they were saying after he made that like "Just Lose It" song and he was playing Michael Jackson in the whole video and shit and like being disrespectful, that he went out and like bought M's catalog or whatever.
Bought shady.
So I just want to know, do y'all know if there's some truth to that, or that could just be a conspiracy upon a conspiracy?
I mean, I know it is a common practice for people to sell equity in their company for financial gain. So I don't know who all owns Aftermath. And Shady was under Aftermath.
Yeah, true. I just didn't know there was like a Sony connection, but there's a lot of things that I don't know. So,
it's all
It's a whole website where music and rights to music is like a stock market thing where you can buy rights. It's crazy. But I didn't know it was that easy, to just, I mean, obviously you gotta have money, but
right.
I didn't know you could just go, let me buy Eminem out. But I guess
you can, because you can buy like the royalty contracts or something like that.
Yeah.
So that for like however long you buy it for down the line, if that song continues to make money, then you'll end up getting the royalties instead of like the actual artist because they sold whatever masters royalty. I don't know all the terms.
They trying to act like NFTs is just new. That's pretty much NFT.
That is pretty much an NFT.
Yo, that's correct. That is crazy. So it no longer goes to the artist; it goes to the person. What?
Well, it for a long time it never went to the artist. Beyond artists not owning their masters, they don't own their distribution. They didn't own their publishing. Like all of those things, it took the art away from them, and so they would get paid up front because record labels and all that kind of stuff knew how much money they were likely / potentially going to make on back.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's not
Especially,
new. I can only imagine how much that's escalated in the age of the internet.
yeah, because I feel like it's going back. It sounds like with these 360 deals, which are not new either, it's going back to that where they're getting less and less ownership, like the artists.
Well, it depends on that because working independent is a lot easier now than it was then, but opportunity for growth is a lot more difficult with independence than it is with labels. It still is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I forget what podcast or whatever I was listening to, but they were saying how like some artists are more beneficial from 360 deals than being independent. That's how you structure, how do you have that hustle in you, or would you benefit from your team just doing everything? So it's like
I can see that. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that kind of sounds like equivalent to, okay, not completely, but like similar to somebody wants to work for themselves, like entrepreneurship spirit versus like working for someone. Like it's a different level of hustle and I guess responsibility.
Yeah.
That's a good point though. Yeah.
I got Tidal. They pay their artists like for real, more than the other streamings, because the other streamings like kind of pretty much just jack their money.
Yeah. Not we all know who the common streaming services are, but that is a typical thing that they can pay like, I don't know, a cent, a half a cent on the dollar per play or something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder how that. I mean, podcasts are different, obviously, than like music, but I wonder how else those contracts are different, because like you hear about them giving certain people, once again, they expect to get their money back plus more, but like a Joe Rogan or something, that's why you could give him $100-200 million to come to Spotify specifically.
Well, the whole thing with that is a main reason podcasts can be considered different inside of that is if your platform is about music streaming, you're not really incentivizing people to come to you unless you get something that they can't get anywhere else. That was the whole appeal of Rogan.
True.
And with podcasts, unless you have personalized contracts with companies or not companies but partnerships, a lot of podcasts, at least that are on bigger scales, they get that whole affiliate marketing thing where you're like, oh yeah, let me sell Alpha Brain, Blue Chew, what have you. And the only way I'm really making money is based on how many people come to you over a period.
Yeah.
And then if I can assure that, it's like how companies used to pay for commercial time. That's really all it is. You want it to get in front of people. So if your podcast gets some odd hundreds of thousands of listens and views on YouTube, we ain't got to pay you for how much money you're going to make us. We just got to pay you for you to talk about us.
Yeah. It's going to be a hefty sum. Spotify.
I mean, when I listen to so many comedian podcasts, and a lot of them talking about like they're not incentivized to want to be in movies and all that kind of stuff. Like Hollywood can't control them to some certain degree anymore because they make so much more money podcasting at this point.
That's wonderful, man.
Oh,
cock-a-doodle do, baby. I don't know. That's like my first thought was toucan, and that's not the sound that a toucan makes. But anyway, I just want to know what. Okay, all right. This is random, but the cereal Fruit Loops, that was Toucan Sam, right?
Correct.
Is there ever any commercials with Toucan Sam? Did he ever like speak? Did
There
the
were,
motherfucker
there
make
were
a
so
noise
many
or anything?
commercials with Toucan Sam. Yeah.
Really? Damn, I missed those, man.
Yeah, bro. He was like, follow your nose.
Yeah,
Oh.
you know, yeah.
I guess I was too busy listening to Tony the Tiger, man. I was too busy listening to Tony.
That's a beak. It's not a nose. But we'll let that slide.
Well, that's like
Yeah, conspiracy, man. Because I'm sure it was intentional. Some conspiracy theory shit right there.
Yo, shout out to who the fuck is that? I think it's Marcus the Visual. I'll tell Adam to correct this in post if I'm wrong.
Welcome back, listeners. It's been a minute, but the correct IG handle is Mythalica, spelled MYTHALLICA.
He is this dude who is an animator, cartoonist on IG who started designing his own like 2D fighter video game based on cereal mascots.
Oh, that's great.
Dang, that's what's up.
I'm gonna send to Adam. Hopefully, we can put some in post. But he had like Tony the Tiger, Toucan Sam, Toucan Sam, the Lucky Charm, Leprechaun,
Yeah.
Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Yeah, man. What was it? Smack? Was that one?
The
What's
like
it called?
Bear, it's like a bear, right?
For honey.
Damn, no, I'm
Sugar
thinking of
Smack.
something different then. I keep going back in between like my lower class lifestyle and then my middle class lifestyle. Like it's a difference in what we ate. So I'm trying to remember which one was what.
It wasn't one.
You know, Kaboom was one. We all know what class Kaboom is in. We already know.
I think I might have been a little too privileged for Kaboom because
I used to like Kaboom.
one of my favorites that I don't even think I could eat anymore because it's that smell of faux maple syrup is just too strong.
Faux maple syrup, that's great.
Waffle Crisp. Used to fuck up Waffle Crisp back in the day.
Yes, dude. Me too. Oh my god. I think my all-time favorite though was Fruity Pebbles. That's like all time right there. All time.
Fruity Pebbles? Nah, man, they get soggy too fast.
It's a top tier.
So you just can't put too much milk in there. You got to fill up half the bowl in the milk. So as you're eating, you know.
I don't know that life.
Immediately. That's one of those cereals you just got to get at it immediately.
You got to go in with some gusto for sure. You got to set a timer. Yeah, bro. But then you automatically get this flavored milk. That's like it's double time. It's double time right there, man.
It's too flavored. I can't handle that.
Bro, you talking like you had COVID or something back then. No, I'm just talking.
Hey man, this weather got I'm feeling something in my throat, man. It's not good.
That's what she said.
Like that was the only response to Marcus's statement. I was about to actually say something, but I was like, I'm gonna let it rest after that. Dismissed. Yeah, dude, that's it. There's a certain class of comments that I guess just get dismissed versus other ones where all the attention goes. It's like, okay. All right. I do want to take it back to Spotify because there's this new I guess it's not really a podcast. It's it's called Batman Unburied. Buried. Batman Unburied. Unburied. I go back and forth with that pronunciation. But
yeah, you got me thinking like, which one is it?
Right. That's a word that like every time I'll just ask people like, yo, how do you say the word? And I've heard it differently many a times.
Buried.
I think typically I would say Batman Unburied.
What is this?
So it's almost like listening to the radio, man. It's like a audio it's just audio episodes, so I don't
Do they
know. It's like a series, and
Yeah, but
I think it's specific to Spotify.
when
Sorry,
you
what just?
married, what are they like
Oh,
doing?
that part I don't know. So far, I've listened to maybe like 5 or 6 episodes, and I'm not quite sure why that has that name. Like, I don't know if it's.
But what is
I'm about to go. I'm
I'm
about to
not
give you that. I'm about to give you that juice, man. I'm about to give you that juice.
I thought
I
you was
thought you,
gonna be that there.
no,
Like
no, my bad. I thought originally you had asked like who made it. That's why I said Spotify. Uh,
Christian
but
Bale.
yeah, it's just, yeah, it's just a really cool Spotify series, man. And it's like it's dark. It reminds me of the new Batman with Robert Pattinson. It's like very dark and thematic in that way. But so far, after only having listened, I don't want to spoil it, of course, but like it's Gordon, who is, obviously cool with Batman. It's his daughter is like uncovering secrets and shit, and there's this serial killer going around, so she's trying to uncover these secrets of and make connections between why Batman seems to be gone versus like this new serial killer going on
So
in Gotham at the moment.
this is Barbara Gordon before she becomes back.
I didn't even know she. Okay, see, Josh, you bringing up stuff that I didn't like. You're a little deeper into that series, I think, or into the Batman universe
I mean, I'm a
than
comic
myself.
book fan, so
Yeah. Anyway, it's really good. It's like really, really good. Just kind of bringing it back to Spotify because that's something I kind of been listening to lately, and I think it's definitely worth it, yo. And I feel like, is it fair to say those are pretty new? Like these audios, audio series that you can't go on YouTube or somewhere and find actual visual clips and stuff to it.
No, I mean, podcasting before, it blew up in a visual place was all audio for the most part.
Yeah, but it's like this is like just picture watching Batman on TV. Like, well, you can't because it's without the TV. But
I'm just saying it's like an audio only.
it's not. Yeah, it's like an actual series, like show. It's not people talking about Batman or anything.
Are they like
that.
acting out the roles and stuff like that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like a table read.
Yeah.
I could dig that. And I'm sure they put stuff in the background for like sound effects and shit like that. Or
Yeah, dog. It just seems super real. Like it's essentially it's like if you made the new Robert Pattinson Batman into an actual show, into an actual series, just with no visuals.
Why specifically that one?
Because of I just feel like that one had more of I guess it's safe to say that Batman to some degree has always been dark because there's always like villains and there's always crime and shit like that he has to fight. But I feel like this one, look, man. That was not a lower class statement, Josh. All right, that was not a lower class statement. I know you don't like dark. I know. It was heavy. This one's a bit heavier. Yeah.
But no, I want to be a contrarian right now and go, why do people like this Batman so much? Or Robert Pattinson? Huh?
Do they?
Yeah.
I do.
I keep hearing people talk about all these great things about it. And I was like, one, it was too long. Two, everyone in there is more engaging than him.
Yo,
Three,
why do you think if movies are long these days, they're like special and majestic?
Oh no, but why do people also think that like if they're long, they can't be good, or they're just automatically like you just forget how good it can be, or like the quality of the movie because it's so long.
No, and here's the thing.
I think
I'm not saying
that's also a question.
I'm not saying it was bad because it was long. I don't mind a 3-hour movie. My thing is, if you're going to have me there for 3 hours, then I need to be engaged the whole time, which it didn't do.
Yeah, usually why a movie is that long is because it's a lot to fit in the plot, and it has to be told and has to be shown. And when I think back, like all the long movies that I can remember, they're usually pretty good. But yeah, so that was like my statement was revealing more about myself than.
No, you're right though. It's because like I remember even like the Lord of the Rings trilogy is probably some of my favorite movies of all time, and they all were at least 3.5 hours long. I still remember how my ass felt. Hey, that's what she said. I know set myself up for that one. And I remember towards the very end, like the last one, which I love. I do remember kind of thinking like, man, I wonder, did they have to make this one that long? It was good, but if I have to ask that question, I didn't ask it in the other two. It's like it says something about the story, I guess. But like maybe I'm missing something, or I'm just like, did they really have to make this last one that long, or are they just trying to stretch it? You know?
And that's what I'm talking about. It's like if you as the director or whatever, your job is to make sure that everything that you want me to see and hear are of value. Because I remember, what was it? We were performing somewhere. I think we were out in South Africa, and the piece we were doing had a record player, and I remember seeing something on the record player was like weird, and I asked one of my directors, Gary, I was like, "Hey, you think anybody's gonna notice anything about the record player?" And he was like, "If someone's looking at it, then I failed as a choreographer." Because
was something on the record player. What do you mean?
It was something weird about it. I don't remember what it was. Like there was like a crack or something in there, something like that. Like that. And I was like, "You think anybody's gonna care about that?" And he was like, "Yeah, if anybody is looking at that, then I failed as a choreographer because why are they looking at that instead of the dance?"
Well, I'm the type of person that would probably see.
That's okay. That's hilarious.
Looking at the dancer, but just because I'm paying attention.
Right, and I get that.
That's a good point.
Little things can distract you and all that kind of stuff. I get how that can be a thing, but I got his point of, as a director or a creator or what have you, I want you to look at the thing I want you to look at, and so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that that's the thing.
So definitely after the show, don't mention that to him.
You can. He'll be like this.
You'll be like, I failed.
And so for me, my big thing is like I like when artists know the statement was made in the most concise way possible, and if you have more lore and all that kind of stuff that you're trying to add to it, or you're like, oh, this detail is really imperative to go into this, and then you need to make me care about it so that I don't notice that I've been sitting here for 3 hours.
Yo, that's an interesting topic though, about like having dense messaging, like just as a person in your everyday life, like in movies and media, whatever. Because I like things that simplify. I like people and things that simplify something that may have previously been considered complex. But I do like long movies that are really good.
Yeah.
Like I just have the patience to withstand it, to gems, I guess. But it's something to be said about things that are concise and to the point. Like,
right.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Definitely, bro.
So I just think it was like Riddler was so much more engaging than Robert Pattinson. If I hear one more person tell me about this alleged on-screen chemistry between Robert Pattinson and Zoe that didn't fucking exist, like it didn't even kind of exist. It was just ashy. Everything about all the interactions was just ashy as shit.
I still gotta see it, man. I saw little parts of it, but I feel like I needed to turn the brightness up on my screen. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I meant when I was saying like, dark. I had to say it really quick. Heavy, But
That's specifically visual.
Yeah, I didn't care
Yeah.
about that. That's why I said it.
but I kind of liked it. I like that. I thought that was a different take on it, and it kind of like, to Josh's point, and like he wasn't as engaging. I agree, but I think that kind of went along with the visuals of the movie. Like he to me, I understood him to be in like a mourning or depressed state. Maybe not depressed is too strong, but like some sort of a mourning, dark place with, within to be like within himself in that space. So it made sense why he might be less engaging, and kind of he got pulled out a little bit here and there. But I thought overall he was in that state before, as the movie went along towards the end, it kind of changed a bit, but especially in the beginning.
I get that take.
Yeah,
but
it made sense with the visuals too.
I always consider like Batman to be like a ultimate professional, and I like he's like the great detective. So then I saw a few clips, and he was like asking. He wasn't like knowing stuff. He was like, I don't know. He just didn't seem on top of his shit. Like,
that was. It ain't even that, Marco. And I'm not trying to spoil the movie for you or nothing like that. But this is supposed to be his greatest depiction of his, detective side, right? And that's the big thing about the difference between this Batman and previous Batman. Is like this was supposed to focus on him being a detective.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Because he's supposed to be like one of the best detectives and all that kind of stuff. But in this, every riddle, except for like the very last one, he figured out so easily. It wasn't like any contemplation. Like, okay, well, Alfred did the fucking deciphering of the whatever coded language it was, yada yada yada. And then every time it's like, this is the riddle, da 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 da. 2 seconds, he figured out the whole riddle. Every cop in the city is stumped. He didn't have any kind of like, oh well, maybe it's no. He just knew.
He like, I study daily.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know. It just. And I even saw somebody point out a thing that I thought was funny. Anytime a crisis was happening, you see the bat signal come up and he's not dressed yet. They were like, Batman sees the signal and he runs to the bathroom and puts on his black makeup so that he can go put on his costume. And you're like, yeah, that has to be what happens, because his mask does not cover. His mask is like this, like it leaves his whole eye open that he has to now go apply black makeup to.
Man, I always hated that. Like in some of the Batman costumes, how they gotta paint black around his eye.
Yeah,
I don't know why I don't like that.
But stuff like that has always just confused me. Like on Flash, when they had Mr. Terrific on there, his regular everyday he had an afro, but when he would get dressed to be Mr. Terrific, he had straight backs. And I was like, who the fuck just braided his hair to get ready to go fight crime? That's
definitely a superpower right there.
Yeah.
He doesn't have powers.
Or like a high class assistant, man.
I was like,
upper class assistant right there.
Y'all just found out like a bank is being robbed. He's like, I'll be there in like an hour and a half. I gotta get my hair braided real quick. Like, who's doing his hair?
The sister come out real quick. That's the get you right.
Let me just find somebody with some soul in them anywhere in the city. Anywhere. That's my detection.
Grab somebody on the street. I gotta braid my hair first.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So I guess moral of my story is, I think this new show, this new like audio series show is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So
it's worth the shot for sure.
Is it their story, or is this story like part of the Batman canon of like DC?
I think this is their story. I just know that it says like only on Spotify or something like that. So it might be like specific to them. But I mean, like you're still it's episode 5 and you're still running into similar themes, like certain people like Gordon and all them are like still a
I just
thing.
wonder if it's fan fiction or sanctioned by DC.
Oh, that's a good question. That I don't know. Yeah.
But speaking of in that realm, if we just gonna be plugging stuff, just because why not? It's all there is what is it called? LeVar Burton's podcast does something similar to that, where he just reads he reads his favorite short stories. LeVar Burton reads is what it's called.
He back to reading. Okay.
And it's got 150 episodes now, so it's been going for a little while now. So that's one where you like if you like storytelling, and it's just him, yeah. I always advocate for Risk, which is a storytelling podcast. So that's more like open mic storytelling, or people who submit and all that kind of stuff. But the other one, I just discovered this one called I Hear Voices, which is Will Friedle and Christy Carlson Romano, i.e. Eric from Boy Meets World and the sister from Even Stevens.
Got you. Wow. I wondered what happened with the sister from Even Stevens, man. I had always wondered. I mean, for years, like maybe I just didn't recognize her in certain things, or didn't really hear about her. But I wondered because you always heard about Shia LaBeouf over the years.
Apparently, both of them got really heavy into voice acting after the Disney days, and still including the Disney days because both of, I don't know if you know this, but both of them were the main voices on Kim Possible.
I did not know that. Damn.
So, yeah, she was Kim Possible. He was Ron.
Got you. Yeah, the naked mole rat. No.
That's Rufus.
Rufus. There we go.
That was Ron's pet. The gotcha. But they both did a whole bunch of shit. Like the one that stuck out to me most was he was the voice of Terry McGinnis on Batman Beyond. As we're talking about Batman. But they both have done a bunch of shit since Kim Possible, and they have this podcast where they bring on other voice actors to talk about this VO world. Most recent episode I listened to was Phil Lamar, who's one of the GOATs. He's like, what do you say?
I said he the legend, man.
Yeah, he's definitely a legend from the Mad TV days, but he did Samurai Jack and a bunch of shit.
Damn, Samurai Jack. Dude, I wouldn't mind listening. I wouldn't mind like having a Samurai Jack series where it's like the same thing as this Batman series I'm talking about, where like you hear everything as if you're watching it. It's something about the imagination of just hearing it. Like it reminds me of like how they listened to, I'm sure in the way back when they listened to like well, all they had was radio, so they had to use their imagination or something. It's like
that's to sit on the radio and just listen to stories.
Oh yeah, and that was one of the big things that actually intrigued me about this new Batman series is that right there, just the imagination aspect of it was really cool, man, or is really cool.
Told me they used to do that. I used to see it in movies, like they listening to a boxing match, and I'm like, oh, I know dude gotta be excellent at describing it, but don't know how you could.
Johnson goes on the right jab. He gets on the right jab. Yeah, a tucky, takes an uppercut to the chin.
He could also like those dudes. I'm sure went on to be auctioneers as well.
Hey, yo, they'll be.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. It's all good.
I was gonna say they would be so confused, like calling a basketball game in this era, like the commentators from there. Like he throws it up, he does this thing. What I've never seen this.
Yeah, he's referring back to his notes. Tomahawk jam. Is that what this is? Yeah.
Snazzy dribble.
It's nasty dribbling. Yeah.
And you can only hope that based on those cats back in the day, you probably gonna get one And oh my goodness, there's so many niggers that are just doing so well now. This the jigaboo crosses the other.
The Negro just easily lays it in.
Oh man.
Oh, but look at that Luka Doncic. That's a real player right there. Luka's just an exemplary gentleman.
I guess it's he is though, but I guess it's I guess it's not only the jerseys that are dark these days. The whole league seems to be pretty dark.
Jerry West.
Yeah. Now that's a player I can get behind. Jerry West.
Have you seen the logo? All white.
The magnificent Pistol Pete is back again.
Yo, somebody brought that shit up. Like, you know how there's always that like underlining kind of racism thing with black leaders on sports teams, as far as like with black quarterbacks or black point guards, because if they know it's a correlation between white NBA players and passing.
Oh, like specific to like a Pistol Pete was known for like assists and shit. Yeah,
like with Pistol Pete, like Pete, that's Pete Maravich, same person. Steve Nash, what's his name from the from the Jazz?
John Stockton.
Oh yeah.
Like these cats were like, they get to be the upper echelon of passing. They've gotten whole MVPs in the league on passing.
I kind of agree with that, but I think the main stereotype has been like they can shoot better than anyone. But all of them, the passing, all of them stereotypes are done in basketball.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of piggyback on that one, Marco. Like that's the one that I even remember growing up, just like with that idea that like the white players could shoot, like started out shooting three, like they started out at the 3-point line and then worked their way up, as opposed to like a black player. And this is obviously not everybody, but like you're more likely to be like, oh, that person did some crazy dunk on somebody, as opposed to like is a really good 3-point shooter. You know?
Yeah, I think all of that has kind of changed. And
I mean, you have LeBron James, who's
the game is completely
being really good at assists, you know.
Yeah. The game is completely flipped at this point because everybody named Mama on the court shoots threes more than anybody drives.
From the half court.
From half court, right.
Yeah.
I saw Luka, speaking of Luka, I saw Luka do a step back when he wasn't even near the 3-point line. And I was like, what?
Him and Curry anywhere on the floor. Dame Lillard, some of the people who just put him anywhere. I got a take on Luka though. I feel like he's gonna decline pretty quickly. And I say that because his style is not based on athleticism. But usually when players are like in their lower 20s, it is some type of piece of that. But he's shaped like a corn dog, man.
That's kind of the hilarious thing about Luka. Is like he's never been in shape. Like he's been out of shape the whole time.
He shows up to camp out of shape. And look at James Harden, like he's like 34 maybe or something like that. And he's showing his decline. But Luka, man, he better get it together, man. You could score 40, being deceptive like he does, but I don't see how he's gonna maintain this level.
I don't know. I don't know that he will necessarily maintain this kind of.
He's good. He's good.
He is, but it's so interesting because I'm like, he's big, he's kind of slow,
Yeah, he's slow.
And so I'm like,
He's just so crafty.
right. So
Yo, I got a random question on basketball, like specific to our early days. What were each of us? I mean, I can ask this question because we know enough of one another over these 2 decades plus. What was each of our like main move? Like Jordan had that fadeaway, right? Like it just, like I'm sure we all had that one move that you can expect from us or whatever. Like I was thinking about it, and I want to say I had some. I want to say I was great at all of it. No, man. I know at one point I had a pretty good jumper, but I remember specifically like at one point like practicing like working on like almost like a fadeaway. Yeah, I guess it was a bit more like a fadeaway to be more concise, but like off balance in particular.
Mhm.
And I want to say, what's up?
I said you had a fadeaway package.
Yeah.
I had that round trip. Yeah, for sure. I want to say Josh was known for a hook to some degree, right? Is that fair to say?
I was big on unconventional off balance. Like I never shot any kind of conventional way unless it was like maybe from a 3 or something like that. But it was most of the time
I feel like Josh had a finger roll layup package.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. That's like, yeah, like I mistook that for like a hook, but
nah. It was always something because I knew I knew I'd had airtime, so I was always trying to do too much in the air and throw it up in some bullshitty way.
Marco, what about yourself, man? I'm trying to remember.
Marco had the range. I remember Marco had range.
I mean, even with a football, he had range. Like that, yeah, that man could throw. I'm saying it like I'm not staring at you. Man, that man, yo.
I feel like I had like a stop and go pull up jumper, maybe. Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Drop that shoulder, pull it back.
Yeah. Man, it's just I just remember I was remembering those moments, man, and like particularly my highlights. I particularly like to remember those.
Some highlights in the gym, man.
Yeah, dude, and just like
clutch shots.
Just like other people we saw, that we played with, and you get to know them, and you kind of get to know their moves and shit, and like what they're known for at the in the streets or on the at the park. It's like, yo, that's that man with that,
I mess with sometimes. I used to at least get like a week or so of it in when I would go to Wyoming, just because it was more accessible. Out here, the most expensive gyms are the ones that have basketball courts in them. And I can't play outside because my knees can't take that concrete anymore.
Yeah, you're right. We need to get into the gym though with the basketball and bring it back.
I mean, it'd be fun. The other side of this is because of Chicago, niggas are too serious about that shit.
Say no more.
I was about to say, definitely, yeah.
And I was like, I don't care enough for the like broken NBA dreams of all these motherfuckers out there.
You ain't trying to risk life. You ain't trying.
I need my body to work tomorrow. Like this is my bread and butter. And so the way y'all, I just like you never had a chance to make it into the league. I need you to get that you did. You have a chance to make it into the G League.
Yeah, man. These dudes just sound like a bunch of rappers that never made it.
So, yeah.
But,
I remember I was at Josh's old apartment, and they had like a court back out there, and I was like, I'm about to go play some basketball. I went out there. I believe you like advised against it.
This is when we were on the south side, or
Halstead in Division, or
when you was at Halstead.
Oh, I don't remember this.
Yeah, I was over there. I feel like you went somewhere. You had to go somewhere. And I had I just went to play basketball, but felt like it was almost that, but I had like kind of it wasn't as intense, but I felt like it was getting there. But
and that's what I'm saying, man. It's gonna be at least one motherfucker that shows up, and it's gonna have to change. It's gonna change the energy of the whole space. Everybody was playing around, like, man, these niggas are sorry ass motherfucker. Like, nah, just stop.
Man, that's how I still feel like I mean, I'm not aggressive in this. I'm not aggressive in the sense of like shitting on other people and like blaming I'm talking about like more so like I feel like when I play football now, I'm still doing unnecessary dives. Like I'm still doing it for ESPN. I'm still doing it for those highlights, you know, way more than my body can handle, man.
Now, see that I'm fine with. You know, you just want to be doing stuff because that's the way you play. Sure,
Yeah.
But like even in Wyoming, you know, there it was a big ass gym, so it was always like several courts that you could play full court on. So there'd be like some courts where it's just cats that are just playing. There's like that mid tier or middle class court where motherfuckers who are like decent, but you know they don't take themselves too seriously, but they kind of serious. And then there's that one court that's full of all the D2 because they got a D2 school out there, and it's those motherfuckers that are they're off for the day, so they just came over here to play around, and they're like, man, these niggas don't even know how to play, and I'm like, no, we don't. Why the fuck did you come here expecting that?
Yeah, that is the only question. Why did you come here expecting that, man?
That's why to say, hey, we the kings of basketball around here. But they probably wouldn't be that dope if we like grabbed like a few guys off the street.
Yeah, from Chicago or Indiana. It's like, nope.
Anywhere else. Like they're real motherfuckers in the street. I'm not gonna act like they ain't. You know, we all know, you know, there's some motherfuckers that are better than Jordan, you know, were better than Jordan that didn't make it. They didn't get their chance. But you, Jeffrey, I don't know, Jeffrey King, that's a D3 scholarship student. Stop it. What are you doing? Yeah, you don't get to stand on a pedestal.
It's a self-esteem boost, I guess, for them when they go on, you know, like they're looking for those type of arenas.
My nigga, you can masturbate on your own time. This is a public space.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that might be the title too. MF, you can masturbate on your own time. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Though I like I said, I ain't played at this point now in years. I ain't held a basketball in years. I've less shot one.
Man, me either, man. Me either. I wouldn't mind it though. I wouldn't mind if like we got our podcast and we went against another podcast. You know, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Shout out to what's his face? Wax, motherfucker that catches his own shit. He's hosting a podcast, Paintball War.
Something I have never done before. Never gone paintballing.
Me either.
We gotta do that.
Yeah, we definitely gotta do that.
We do, but man, yeah, I'm gonna have to just suck it up and deal with a couple bruises. You know, I'm gonna have to suck it up and deal with a couple bruises, man.
Yeah,
I mean, and I know they have armor and shit, so
yeah. And then you get to go home and be like, you know, sing Battle Scars from Natalie. It's Battle Scars.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I rather rap Superstar, but yeah, I'll deal with.
I'm not saying like it's a good song. It would work.
No, I'm just saying like I rather come out victorious. You know?
Do that too. Like, hey, baby, I just got home from war.
Yeah. I know you've been waiting since 10 to see the lights get dim.
Like you're supposed to meet me at the door with, you know, some pussy and a hot meal.
Yeah.
He gonna give her that line. You should see how the other guy look.
Yeah. But no, it's a lot of them activities. They got the real go-karts out here, the ones that get to like 30, 40. Don't want to do that again. I ain't done that in a while.
I don't know that I've done. I don't know that I've been in a go kart where I was allowed to be that reckless. I would love to.
Oh yeah, them real. Like you gotta wear a helmet. You gotta
Mm.
like sign a waiver.
Yeah,
Because I've been in like bumper cars with that got really aggressive, but that's it.
Nah, these like real tracks.
How big are they? Like pretty big tracks?
They're big enough. Most of the time they're indoor, so they're not going to be like huge, but they usually have about 7 or 8 turns on them, and motherfuckers that are recklessly cutting you off to win this pointless race. But like that, I want to go axe throwing again. That shit is so fucking fun.
Yeah, I've done that before. I think it like a Renaissance fair or something. Did y'all ever go to the Renaissance fair in Indiana? I don't
Nah,
know. I don't know what other states have them. I think there's one in Georgia I've heard of, but
I'm
that was
sure
something there.
it's relatively common, but no, I didn't even know there was one near us.
That and like bow shooting is pretty dope.
I do want to learn how to do that too. What do you say, Marco?
I always think of y'all watch the Eric Andre show, or I have ever.
I have,
but not in any real way.
So I love Eric Andre, man. He's hilarious. But every time somebody speak on the Renaissance Fair, I think of this skit he did where he was like pretty much crashing the Renaissance Fair like as a runaway slave. But he had some dude chasing him and he was like running away and like
oh, that's great, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, that is great. I almost wish damn. Yeah, that's good. I wish we could like insert a clip. I guess Adam could do that.
Be hilarious.
Maybe I don't know if we get flagged for that.
I was thinking.
I don't know.
Oh,
at this point, who the fuck knows? I mean, we like the YouTube is monetized. Shit, flag us.
Hey, pause this episode and go to that. If you made it deep into the episode, that's your reward.
True. I can't necessarily say I got nothing against Eric Andre. I can't necessarily say I'm a fan, but I was surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed that the movie was Bad Trip with him and Hannibal.
Yeah, I've been watching that for a while now.
Say it again.
I said I still haven't seen it. I've been meaning to watch that.
It's surprisingly funny. For me, surprisingly funny. Only thing that it somewhat asks you to suspend belief because I refuse to believe that in the places that they went and they're interacting with all these allegedly unknowing people, no one recognized Tiffany Haddish. And I just find that incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree because I saw the movie too. It was really funny, man.
It was
laughing like throughout most of the movie. But you're right. That's a very good point. Like that was the one question I had was like, all right, so no one recognized them. Like I wanted to know a little bit more of the behind the scenes. You know, like there were no contracts. No, like what?
Right, because I'm like, she didn't put on any special makeup. She just had like her lesbian straight backs, and she talked like herself. So I'm like, no one went, that's fucking Tiffany Haddish.
I think there could be parts of this country where Tiffany Haddish is not known.
Not in Black communities.
Right, and I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really.
Yeah. If they went to like a Waffle House, I'm like, there's no way.
Also, they probably would not use the footage from if somebody noticed them. But those are my 2 bailouts. But I don't think you probably right. You probably right. Some people were probably like in it.
And that was my assumption too. I'm like maybe it happened and they were able to just contain it or cut it out and still make it a cohesive story.
I would imagine if something crazy is happening, they would probably like have to like address the situation before they say, "Oh, you're, blah blah blah."
Yeah, and all those things. Like I know they gotta get consent from these places before you like ruin some property and all of that kind of stuff.
A lot of property was ruined. That's for sure.
That is true. Yeah. But yeah, check it out, Marco. It is a good time.
Yeah, I think they definitely had to. I think we had heard they cut they cut several things out because certain situations did get a little more extreme than they had planned for, so they had to cut some shit out for sure.
Because it is one of the things when you fuck with regular civilians, you don't know how they're gonna react.
Yeah.
You hope for the best.
Yeah, it could be some real low class reactions, man. For sure.
Got some stories of near life death, near life experience.
Near life experience. My life was almost extended.
Hey, but about Eric Andre though, man, he actually is like beyond the like antics and weird stuff. He is like a comedic genius, and maybe just a genius in general. Just I could tell. I could tell for real. He is.
I think that in his brand of comedy, he is top tier. Because I watched his stand-up special too, and I was like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like him based off of that. I don't like. I mean, I've seen his stand-up, but that's not. I think I appreciate his sketch comedy the most.
Yeah,
and just honestly, him being like out of character and just talking as a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just like dude. He's entertaining.
Oh, and that thing too, like when we could talk. We'll end up talking about this on another episode, but he's another example of somebody who is clearly on medications and depressed and anxious and all of that kind of stuff. Like he clearly has his issues that he's vocal about, and if you were to actually hang out with him, you're like, oh, you're a really cool dude, but your avenue of income has just come with kind of being a asshole to people's like general comfort.
Yeah,
it's not malicious. It's just in disregard.
That's a pretty good way to say it. Yeah, it's a good way to sum it up. I think. Yeah,
I look at Eric Andre as more of a like he's parodying. How you say this word?
Parodying. He's making parody of.
Yeah. That's easier to say. He's making parody of.
That's more concise. Yeah.
Like how I want to say serious or like just pre-programmed behavior. He's parodying that.
That's exactly.
I just love that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like that right there, like that alone is what attracts me to him for sure. And that's what he's
like Tracy Morgan level stuff of randomness.
Right.
Which I also love. Man, don't even bring up the God, man. Don't bring up the God, Tracy.
And like I said, that brand of comedy, because like you look at him, you look at like a Sacha Baron Cohen and all that kind of stuff. Like I think I enjoy what Eric's is because he's kind of just being disgusting to kind of dismantle whatever your general comfort is. I don't particularly care for Sacha Baron Cohen because it's usually at the expense of those people to make them look stupid and all that kind of stuff as if you're standing on some kind of pedestal. And Tracy, And
I feel like he kind of exaggerates the like the truth part about it. Like he exaggerates that to where people have to react. But I guess that's what they all do. But it's like, I think it moves beyond truth in his case. Like,
so what you're saying is Sacha Baron Cohen is one of those guys whose movie would be way too fucking long. His movie would be way. It's like, bro, all right, man, come on, we got it.
I mean, because his thing, like with him, I don't particularly care for like the Brunos and all that kind of stuff. I think he's had some great hitters. Like him and Tell the Nigga Nights is amazing.
Ali G, man.
Yeah, that's
Ali G was a hit or miss for me. But I think he has some hits, and I think he has some hardcore misses that get way too much play. But just personal opinion. We're gonna wrap it up there though.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for joining us for another episode of the InforMILLy podcast. Hope y'all like tuning in. Please write us informally@gmail.com. You can hit us on any social media and informally honest. And by all means, we hope to hear from you. We want to talk about the things you want to talk about. And if you you can like, share, subscribe. You can sponsor us on Anchor, rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And we appreciate any kind of involvement that y'all want to have with us. We're gonna be working on growing. We got one more, and then we're gonna go on break to do some heavy lifting and improve. And so we appreciate everybody that's been riding with us. Really, really do, y'all. And by all means, tell a friend. What'd you say, Marco?
Send us pesos.
Peso. Y'all got any last words? Final thoughts.
It would be funny if you had some like tequila in your hand when you said that. Man, Josh, you said it so well, bro. Thank you for listening, of course, and thank you for any and every engagement, any and every way you guys have engaged with us. We appreciate it, and we're gonna come back bigger and better per usual in the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Bars.
We're
gonna be some real high class shit next season.
So yeah, man. Every conversation that you have, every connection that you make, and every single bond that you cherish, we encourage, we empower, and we implore you. Always keep it vulnerable. Always keep it forthright, and most of all, keep it motherfucking honest. Peace.
Peace.
Can't look
Thanks
in
for
the
listening,
eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.